Hello, I'm Brad Steube, Sheriff of Manatee County, and welcome to Sheriff's Patrol.
And I'm Dave Bristow. The Sheriff's Office recently held its annual awards banquet to honor employees who have excelled in their jobs and in the community. Our first award is the Bell's Humanitarian.
There's a quote that I think is wonderful that was made by Winston Churchill years ago, and it says, we make a living by what we get, and we make a life by what we give. And to me, that says it all about what a humanitarian is. And with that, I'd like to announce that this year's winner of the Bell's Humanitarian Award is Yvonne Gard. And you know, you'd like very much to go through this and kind of have some mystery behind it about who it is, but the truth of it is, once you read the first couple sentences, you're going to know exactly who it is. So, Yvonne, stand by here and let me read your nomination. Yvonne has been the Manatee County Sheriff's Office, has been with the Manatee County Sheriff's Office for 16 years and is the Executive Secretary for the Enforcement Bureau. For the past several years, Yvonne has helped to coordinate various events to benefit others. This year, she took the lead to plan the Superman Bake Sale to raise money for young Wyatt Smith, who had serious medical problems and expenses. Yvonne coordinates the annual Classic Car Show to benefit the flight to the North Pole and has played the role of Mrs. Santa Claus and Head Elf. I think you were Head Elf yesterday, weren't you? Okay. At the Christmas event that provides gifts and entertainment for terminally ill children. Yvonne has taken on the responsibility for the placement of barrels at MSO sites to collect food before the holidays for the Manatee County Food Bank, and she also works on the PAL annual football game to support the Police Athletic League. Yvonne has volunteered to coordinate the 2011 Michelle Wells Memorial Golf Tournament, which, as you all know, is a major event that benefits the Florida Sheriff's Youth Ranches. When Yvonne is involved in a project, you can be assured that the goal is to help someone in need and to shine a light of hope into their circumstances. She's a team player who demonstrates a kind and positive spirit and a get-it-done attitude that is hard to match. She moves fast and pays attention to details to ensure that everything is done orderly and reflects a caring and compassionate image of the Manatee County Sheriff's Office for the community. I think some of your family is present today, is that right? Okay, so she's got some of her family members out there with her. So Yvonne, we thank you for all you do, and please accept this year's Bell's Humanitarian Award.
Yeah, I enjoy charity work. I find a lot of reward in it. With Flight to North Pole, I've been doing it ever since it was out at the airport, so I think it's been for quite a few years, but the last 3 or 4 years I've really been more involved in it. We do the shopping, which is like a whole day, and it's just rewarding when you see the kids come in and you see the joy they have when they see Santa and they get the gifts, and it makes it all worth it. And it's the same with all the other events, you know, that we do at the Sheriff's Office, and we have lots of help. I mean, everyone at the Sheriff's Office is passionate, and they always are willing to give, you know, to make everything a success. Whether it's the food drive, it's the golf tournament, it's the PAL Bowl. We just have a great agency and a great family.
Sheriff Yvonne does a great job stepping forward to help people, not only in the Sheriff's Office, but all over Manatee County.
Well, Yvonne was my district secretary when I was a captain at the old District 3 at I-75 and 64. And since that time, she is always prepared and willing to help do anything, not only with the Sheriff's Office, but in our community.
All right, up next in our annual awards banquet, it's the Robert Bolter Memorial Volunteer Award.
This volunteer has been here with the agency for over 7 years and has given countless hours of his time to the community by volunteering as a volunteer community service aide. Not only has he given of his time to the community, but he has given it without much recognition. And those few times when he is given some recognition, he blushes and acts like it's no big deal because he just wants to help. He never complains about his role as a volunteer and goes out and helps patrol by doing numerous patrol requests answering minor calls for service, and being an extra pair of eyes and ears when patrolling the streets of Manatee County. In addition, we can't remember a time when he complained about anything other than not being able to volunteer because of health issues. Even then, he will send his regrets that he can't go out there and help the sheriff's office serve the public. In other words, he's always thinking about helping the agency and the citizens of Manatee County. We'd like to recognize Bill Vanderzee for his efforts as a volunteer for the Manatee County Sheriff's Office. Accepting for Mr. Vanderzee will be Steve Ogline, Volunteer Coordinator with Crime Prevention. Steve?
All I have for Bill here is a picture of him. He's been a permanent resident here in Manatee County for quite some time, and his wife has been sick for some time, and he moved her up north. And he, unfortunately, here a couple months ago developed some heart trouble that none of us knew about because he's very old-fashioned. He has one phone number at his house. At least he did have an answering machine. But he has no cell phone, no email. So trying to get a hold of him, I couldn't. He finally called in when he got out of the hospital to let me know, oh, by the way, I had open heart surgery. Well, anyway, I guess he decided to become a sunbird. He is up in Michigan right now. Of course, the one that, one of the ones I put in gets it, and he's the one that goes up north. But he'll be back in the spring, and I'm going to go ahead and get in touch with him. I have an address up there for him, but I don't have a phone number. So on behalf of Bill Vanderzee, I want to thank the Moulters for this and the Sheriff's Office for supporting the volunteer program.
You'll have him back in camp.
On behalf of the Moulter family, we have a $1,000 savings bond for the recipient. On behalf of my father, we thank you, and I'm also going to tell him there was cash in here too. So
I'll make sure Bill gets it.
all right.
In there it said unconditionally, and that's how he gave. Bill gives unconditionally, but he'll be back working in the spring.
Once again, congratulations to Bill and Sheriff, all the volunteers that we have. They do a marvelous job.
And we have so many. And of course, we have a program that they get involved in just to be one of our volunteers. But again, these are folks that just want to help our community.
All right, don't go away. When we return, we'll introduce you to the Employee and Deputy of the Year.
This is a crime prevention alert. Home burglaries can be prevented by following these simple tips. Always lock your windows and doors. Keep areas around your property well lit. If you see unusual or suspicious activity, report it. And never open a door to someone you don't know. For more information, contact our crime prevention section or visit us online at manateesheriff.com.
You taught him how to hit a baseball, how to hit a receiver, the strike zone, a 9-iron, the net. Even taught him how to hit the open man. But how much time have you spent teaching him what not to hit?
Emergencies happen within seconds. Often the outcome is tragic and notification can take hours.
That's exactly what happened when my daughter Tiffany died in an accident. It was over 6 hours before we received the horrible news. That's time we'll never get back.
Register your contact information today at toinformfamiliesfirst.org. It's a secure site for law enforcement use.
When emergencies happen, family and loved ones need to know.
Welcome back, everyone. Along with Sheriff Brad Steube, I'm Dave Bristow. Each month, the Sheriff's Office recognizes an Employee and Deputy of the Month. And then at our annual awards banquet, we honor the Employee and Deputy of the Year. Here's our Employee of the Year for 2010.
This year it was actually difficult to decide the Employee and Deputies of the Year based on the nominations we had, where, like the sheriff had mentioned through the staff meetings, where I believe every month was a life-saving incident. So it was very difficult, and we had to actually look at all the contributing factors to make this final decision. So everybody who was nominated this year was definitely worthy of this award, but we unfortunately had to narrow it down to one choice. So I'm going to start with the Employee of the Year for 2010. Prior to Christmas of 2009, you became aware of 2 of your co-workers were experiencing financial problems and their families may not be able to enjoy the upcoming holidays. You coordinated with other employees to ensure that the children had gifts to open on Christmas morning. In January of 2010, you received information that a deputy's family member died suddenly and tragically. You took it upon yourself to gather support from outside donations to help with the costs. Your actions to support and assist your co-workers is very much appreciated and reflect a positive image of this agency, for which you are awarded 2010 Employee of the Year, Sandra Dickerman. Congratulations.
It was a great honor getting the award, and I just love helping other people, and we're a great big family here, and I think we need to help each other.
Sandra is just the theme of what we've been doing here this whole show about the good deeds and good works. And of course, Sandra is married to Detective Dan Dickerman, and Dan's mother is in charge of our dispatchers. And just another great accomplishment by one of our employees.
Yeah, congratulations to Sandra Dickerman. And Sheriff, it's time to recognize our Deputy of the Year. And this year, we actually have 3 deputies who won the prestigious award.
On the night of January 10th of 2010, deputies responded to a residence for an abandoned 911 call. Upon their arrival, they immediately observed a structure fire with flames and heavy smoke coming from inside. Deputies yelled for anyone inside and heard a faint response. You entered the residence and located a paralyzed elderly woman lying in a burning hospital bed with wires connected to she was connected to medical tubes and wires. As you worked to detach the medical equipment and carry the woman outside, she indicated that her husband and cats were still inside the residence. Other deputies returned inside and found the man attempting to extinguish the fire. The man did not want to leave his residence, but was finally removed away from the danger. As the final deputy responded and entered the residence to rescue the couple's cats, they were safely removed from the fire that would have consumed the home, or did consume the home, pardon me. For this, you risked your own personal safety and demonstrated teamwork and extraordinary bravery to prevent the loss of lives, which these following deputies are awarded Deputy of the Year for 2010. Deputy John Lawson, Deputy Bryce Mead, and Deputy Michael Gearholt. Congratulations.
Now it's just, you know, we got dispatched to the 911 call, and you get so many a year, you know, and this is just one of the ones that happened to come true. You know, you had to actually step up.
I remember hearing this older female's voice, and the first thing I thought of is like, what if that's my grandma, you know, in there. And I think that was just added more motivation and more impetus for me to act than there already was. I think when you kind of personalize it in that situation, at least for me, it just lined up everything to where I gotta do this, I gotta do this. Sometimes, you know, in the academy they tell you not to go into a burning building, but what if just kept on going through my mind, you know, and then we find out she's paralyzed, and I don't know, just it set me on fire internally, so to speak. And I had to find her, you know. And by the grace of God, everything turned out really well, because it could have gone so much worse.
What an honor! What an honor it is just to happen to be doing our job. You know, you get a dispatch call, you go to it, and you never know what you're going to get, honestly. I would have never imagined it would have been the situation, only because, you know, responding to our abandoned 911 calls is a daily event. I can't tell you how many abandoned 911 calls I go on every day. You know, sometimes it's 5 times a day, it could be less, but they're never anything. You know, you search the area, you look, you know, you make sure that there's no cry for help or anything, and then you clear and you go on. And this particular day, for the house to be on fire, smoke coming out of there, and elderly people and a paralyzed elderly person inside and can't get out on her own. It's it was quite a night.
Sheriff, doesn't get any better than that.
No, it doesn't. And I was talking to Dan Doyle from Bells, and it seemed like every award for Deputy of the Month was someone saving somebody here in our community. And when this hit the newspaper, people kept asking me, who's Bryce Mead? Who's Bryce Mead? Well, Bryce is the daughter of Deputy Bruce Mead. And so it was a great honor for Michael Gearhold and John Lawson and Bryce Mead.
Well, I know all 3 of them. Mike's a great guy, a canine deputy.
He is.
And Bryce, we've watched her grow up.
We have.
And John Lawson's done a great job, and you could not find 3 better deputies to give this to.
It was a great honor.
All right, we're going to be back with more Sheriff's Patrol right after this.
Car crashes occur every 12 seconds. 9 teens are killed each day, 3,500 each year. The nation's #1 teenage killer is car crashes. Teen Driver Challenge teaches young drivers about safety techniques, vehicle dynamics, and how to avoid accidents.
Register for the next Teen Driver Challenge by visiting our website, manateesheriff.com. Take the challenge and learn to drive like your life depends on it.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know it'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
"30 seconds is not nearly enough time to show you the thousands of people who die in Florida each year from prescription drug abuse."
I wanted to be cool, I guess. Selling drugs, robbing, it's crazy. There's a real good chance you're gonna lose your life. Paranoid every day, looking over your shoulder everywhere you go. I chose the street life over education, and now I'm going to the penitentiary for it.
Is gang life what you want?
Welcome back, everyone, to Sheriff's Patrol. For the 2nd straight year, the Sheriff's Office has experienced a drop in overall crime. Sheriff Patrol's Randy Warren has more.
Dave, we should feel good knowing crime numbers are down and our community continues to be a safe place to live. That's the result of hard work, from tough enforcement to meticulous investigations. 2010 was a productive year.
I've got a bench warrant for possession of firearm, convicted felon, no bond.
Deputies served over 6,000 warrants in 2010.
This is a garage.
The element of surprise.
Hi, how you doing? Sheriff's Office.
Often before the sun comes up.
He's a known gang member.
Wanted suspects are captured, one address at a time.
You know, you were hiding underneath the bed, man. Just take off to the car.
I feel blessed that we have this type of commitment in this unit. They're very diligent in their hunting of these suspects.
The prescription drug problem was a top priority. Detectives made numerous roundups of suspected dealers and buyers of illegal prescription pills.
They're incredibly addictive.
That led to the production of public service announcements on the subject.
Prescription drugs kill 5 times more than illegal drugs, so it's definitely not a safer way to get high.
And more crime prevention tips.
We used to be told to put it down our sinks or flush it, but we found out that that's getting into our water system. I've put the pills in there, I've added some water, some coffee grounds, kitty litter, and as you can see, it's all dissolved.
Following a record number of homicides committed by teenagers in 2009, the Sheriff's Office co-sponsored a seminar in early 2010 on what causes some kids to become so violent.
Number one is these kids come from an unstable family or they're bullied at school. Number two, they're fascinated with violent entertainment. Number three, these kids are suicidal, they're depressed, they're angry and they want to die, which is very dangerous. That's probably the most dangerous of the 10. Number four is these kids are involved in alcohol and drugs. They're abusing drugs or alcohol, or they're committing crimes to get money to fund their drug habit. The fifth cause is they're fascinated with deadly weapons. And 6 is they're involved in cults, gangs, and hate groups, mostly gangs. Those are the most prevalent 6 that we see.
Deputies took big steps toward reducing residential burglaries with the breakup of this stolen property business.
They've been taking in property from various individuals throughout the county that we suspect of committing car burglaries and residential burglaries. We believe that they are taking this property and transporting it to Mexico and selling it for a profit. And they may even be reselling some of these items at local flea markets.
The stuff that we're getting out of this house alone is everything from copper wire, we're getting GPS units, we're getting iPods, we're getting cell phones, car stereos, televisions, just a whole, slew of different electronic equipment.
It's a pretty extensive training that they go through to start with.
And in this feature with crossing guards, we reminded motorists and kids alike about being safe in school zones.
The main thing is getting the kids across the street safely. Have a good day, guys. You have to be looking to make sure that the cars stop, and if they don't, you have to make sure that the kids don't step out if they're not stopping.
These kids don't have any idea about what the traffic can do to them if they don't follow the walk lights, and we teach them to do that.
Come on, let's go if you're going. You're just looking at them, and that's your main, the whole purpose of being here is to make sure that they get across and to school or to home, whichever time of day it is, and you're just concentrating on making sure that that happens.
You see a little bit of everything, and that's what makes the job interesting. There you go. Thanks for your patience.
And now we cruise into this new year facing many of the same challenges. As always, the Sheriff's Office could use your help. Please report suspicious activity and take steps to protect yourself. You can find vital crime prevention tips and other great stuff on our website. That address is manateesheriff.com.
Well, last year crime was down about 12% in the county. This year I think we're going to be at about 4, maybe 5%. And our folks have just done an outstanding job with fighting crime. And the big thing this year has been burglaries. Burglaries of residences, burglaries of automobiles. And right now we've arrested nearly 550 people just for breaking into these things.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Our arrests seem to be way up. It seems like every night we're out making an arrest in a burglary, and it's not only one burglary, it's an impact arrest, meaning that it's several.
Yep, it multiple. Is. We're making those impact arrests, and we're getting some great information from those folks that we are arresting, and we're clearing a lot of burglaries.
And one thing I want to note too, that you mentioned that crime was down in double digits last year, meaning 2009. Well, it's very difficult to repeat when crime is down that much, to repeat crime going down again.
It is.
And that's what we're able to do.
It is. And of course, in 2009, the big focus was violent crime because we had 22 homicides. This year, we only have 9. But again, violent crime is down. Last year in 2009 and in 2010.
Knock on something, right?
That's correct.
All right, finally on Sheriff's Patrol, we'll take one last look back at the holidays and a very special event. The annual Flight to the North Pole. This was the 26th flight to the North Pole, which is coordinated by the Sheriff's Office. The event is a special day for terminally ill children in our community as they get to visit Santa's workshop and receive gift bags. Sheriff, it's just a great event that was actually started way back in the 1980s by the old Eastern Airlines.
And at this event, there were actually 2 of the stewardesses from the original Flight to the North Pole, and I got to meet them and speak with them, and they talked about how they started that program, and it was really fun.
Well, that's great, and Sidney at our office does a great job. I don't say his last name because it's so hard to pronounce.
Sidney Edegay. Yeah. He's a great guy and does, again, a phenomenal job for us.
All right, that'll wrap it up for this edition of Sheriff's Patrol. For Sheriff Brad Steube, I'm Dave Bristow. So long, everyone.